Once upon a time, a cheerful young girl named Karen lived with her mother in a tiny house. Though poor, she was happy, but her one pair of wooden clogs, which her mother had made, chafed her feet terribly. One day, Karen's mother fell gravely ill. To buy medicine, Karen set off for town. But along the way, she discovered a box containing a pair of beautiful, shiny red shoes. She brought them home and excitedly showed them to her mother. These might belong to someone else, Karen, her mother cautioned weakly. You should take them back.
Stubbornly, Karen insisted that because she found them, they were now hers.
Too frail to argue, her mother made Karen promise not to wear them. The girl reluctantly agreed, hiding the shoes beneath her bed. Months passed, and one day Karen returned home to find that her mother was gone. She had passed away and become a star in the night sky. The very next day, on her way to the funeral, Karen broke her promise and put on the red shoes. The mourners at the cemetery were appalled by her disrespect. It was there that a good-hearted, wealthy old woman saw the newly orphaned girl and, taking pity on her, decided to adopt her. Karen went to live in the old woman's grand house, but she refused to take off the now dirty red shoes. Frustrated but not wanting to upset the child further, the woman watched as Karen finally threw the shoes in the trash. The old woman bought Karen beautiful new clothes and shoes, but Karen was ungrateful, finding fault with everything. As she grew into a young woman, her stubbornness only hardened. She refused meals she didn't like and rejected gifts her guardian had carefully prepared. During a shopping trip, Karen spotted another pair of shiny red shoes in a shop window and demanded them. The old woman tried to persuade her to buy a pair of practical black shoes instead, explaining they only had money for one pair. Karen threw a tantrum, threatening to go barefoot everywhere if she didn't get both. Exhausted, the old woman spent the last of her money to appease the girl. Soon after, they had to attend another funeral. The old woman insisted Karen wear the black shoes, but Karen secretly put on the red ones, hiding them beneath her long black skirt. At the cemetery, her gleaming red shoes were revealed from under her hem, shocking everyone. As the old woman grew angry, a handsome young lord noticed Karen, captivated by her beauty. He complimented her and invited her to a dance at the palace that night. Overjoyed, Karen began to dance right there amongst the gravestones. But a strange magic took hold, and she couldn't stop. The red shoes danced on their own, pulling her away from the cemetery and into the wilderness. She danced for 3 days and nights without rest, through mud and thorns, until her feet were blistered and bleeding.
In agony, she finally cried out, "Enough! I won't be stubborn anymore.
I promise." As soon as she repented, the red shoes flew off her feet and danced away on their own. Karen collapsed, exhausted. After a long and painful journey, she limped back home on her wounded feet. Seeing her, the old woman rushed out and embraced her, forgiving her completely. Karen, having learned her lesson, was finally at peace. Sometime later, the same young lord came to her door. He had been searching for her, and they soon fell in love. Leaving her stubbornness behind, Karen married the lord and lived a happy life. In another kingdom, a kind-hearted queen wished for a daughter with skin as white as snow. Her wish was granted, and she named the beautiful baby Snow White. But soon after, the good queen passed away. The king remarried a vain and arrogant woman named Hela, who owned a magic mirror. Every day she would ask it, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror would always answer that she was. But as Snow White grew into a beautiful young lady, the mirror's answer changed. It declared that Snow White was now the fairest in the land. Furious with jealousy, the evil queen ordered her royal huntsman to take Snow White deep into the forest and kill her. However, when the huntsman saw the princess's kindness as she tended to a wounded bird, he could not bring himself to harm her. He warned her to flee and never return, then killed a wild boar to trick the queen. Snow White ran terrified through the dark woods until she collapsed. When she awoke, she found a tiny cottage belonging to 7 dwarves. When they returned from their mine, They were charmed by the princess and invited her to stay, warning her never to open the door to strangers. But the evil queen learned from her mirror that Snow White was still alive. Disguising herself as an old woman, she went to the cottage and offered Snow White a poisoned apple. Forgetting the dwarf's warning, Snow White took a bite and fell into a deathly sleep. When the dwarves found her, they were heartbroken. Believing she was dead, they placed her in a glass coffin and set it afloat on a river. Far away, a handsome prince named Antoine, who had seen Snow White's face in a constellation of stars, was searching for her. A fairy guided him, telling him the princess was in great danger. He finally found her adrift in the glass coffin. He opened the lid and placed a magical stardust necklace around her neck, which instantly revived her. The prince took Snow White back to her father's castle, where they revealed the evil queen's treachery. The king banished Queen Hela from the kingdom forever. Prince Antoine and Snow White were married and, with the 7 dwarves as their honored guests, lived happily ever after.